Your bitchin' dietitian is in. Hey guys, Lonnie, your bitchin' dietitian here, and today we're bitching about diets. So tell me, what is a diet?
Hmm.
Maybe you followed one, maybe you've fallen off one recently, or maybe you're curious to try one out. I feel like the word diet itself has been lost in translation, but let's take a look at a couple definitions first. According to two popular sources, Wikipedia and the Oxford Dictionary. Dieting is usually defined in two broad ways. One being the practice of eating in a regulated fashion in order to decrease, maintain, or increase body weight. And the other being restricting oneself to small amounts of food or special kinds of food in order to lose body weight. Here comes the bitching. So that it's giving control. It's giving making something that should be natural seem unnatural, right? And it's this kind of mentality of controlling what we eat, being super conscious of it all the time, that I feel ruins people's relationships with food and understanding their bodies and actually listening to cues. Your body has processes, involuntary processes that it can regulate by itself. There are certain cues that we can feel that will let us know, if we listen to them, what we might be lacking, what we might need, what we might want. That's okay to want food. But ignoring these cues and trying to control every single aspect of your meals, you might be ignoring some important clues that your body's trying to send you about what it needs. And then things can go wrong. To start off, maybe brittle nails and hair loss. But then it can also go into low energy, injury, and even illness and more. So now we know the broad definition of a diet. But what is the origin of the word diet? So the origin of the word diet comes from dieta. It's Greek for way of life. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. So if I fucked that up, I'm sorry. But I think that's a beautiful thing because if you think about it, it makes so much sense because food is essentially a way of life. Without food, we wouldn't have energy. We wouldn't have the nutrients that we need to function, to live, to sustain ourselves and our activities that we enjoy doing. In a lot of cultures, we spend time together over food. The smells and flavors of foods can trigger memories. So food essentially is a way of life and it should be something natural, something that is sustainable for you versus a fad diet. The fad diets are the ones that usually end up confusing our understandings of our bodies. This is essentially what people think about when they're thinking of the word diet. This is that regulated fashion of eating that was mentioned in those two other definitions. So now let's look at the history of fad diets, which are the diets most associated with these two broad definitions of dieting that I just mentioned. So, the fad diets, as we know them today, can be traced back to the early 19th century with Lord Byron. Yes, the poet man's. Apparently, he had some major body image issues that he needed to deal with, but I guess he just didn't because clearly he ended up passing at the age of 36 due to a sickness, but definitely it was rumored that he'd probably also just eaten, or rather not eaten, himself into poor health. So, some crazy diets that he followed were the tea and biscuits diet, the vinegar and water diet. And these diets have some similarities, they have some links. Let's go through them with some of the diets that we have heard about in recent years. The keto diet, the carnivore diet, Atkins diet, gluten-free diet, what have you. Let's take a look at what all of these diets have in common. Why not? So keto diet, our main source of energy is going to be coming from fats. Carnivore diet, main source of energy is going to be coming from proteins and probably fats. Atkins diet, high protein diet, again, low carb, low fat diet. Gluten-free diet, it's going to cut out a lot of carbs because flour and other things that carry gluten. Now, Let's take a look at an article from the Frontiers in Nutrition journal about fad diets, fact and fiction. So, as you see in this diagram, this is how we would define a fad diet. We've got missing food groups. For example, maybe you're missing proteins, maybe you're missing vegetables, you're missing something, you don't have a balanced diet. Nutritionally inadequate. You're not getting enough of something, whether it's a certain vitamin, mineral, macronutrient, right? The energy providing nutrients. Promote short-term changes. Short-term, it's not going to last a long time. It's unsustainable because it's probably not fit to your lifestyle, your preferences, your available resources, maintenance issues. You're not able to keep up with it. Detrimental for those with chronic diseases. It's not going to provide you with the energy or nutrients that you need in order to heal, in order to mitigate any complications from your illness. Inconsistent scientific evidence. There's not enough proof to say that this is going to help you in the long term. Rapid weight loss. When you have drastic changes that happen, your body is not made to lose weight. Technically, it wants to survive. If we lose too much weight, we don't have enough energy, we don't have enough power, we don't have enough strength to sustain ourselves. So your body is going to try to adjust in order to thrive for as long as it can. Absence of physical activity. I can't stress that there is no one-size-fits-all nutritional way of life that will solve everyone's health problems without balancing it with physical activity as well. Of course, physical activity doesn't always have to be exercising, lifting weights. It doesn't have to be. But essentially, you do need movement plus nutrition as parts of a healthy lifestyle. However, I've had multiple patients and clients who have reported going on these types of diets, these restrictive diets, and ended up not following through at some point. They abandoned the diet and just went to their old ways. They didn't know how to keep going with it. They were like, okay, yeah, I lost a lot of weight, but then I started eating normal again, or I was making a lot of progress, and then, yeah, I couldn't do it anymore because it was not a part of their lifestyle. It was not their way of life. It was not their dieta. Again, I might be butchering that word. But point is, they were temporary because things were missing, whether it was things that they actually enjoy or nutrients that they actually needed. So what happens? My patients end up weight cycling, yo-yo dieting, going on one fad diet to another. And according to a cross-sectional survey on 2,700 Americans, they noticed that about 3 out of every 4 adults was on a special diet with the intention of losing weight, with an average of about almost 8 weight cycles per lifetime, ranging between 10 or more to 20 or more pounds each weight cycle. And in 2018, the CDC reported that there were about 17% of Americans that were on a special diet, and the most popular diet was also aimed at weight loss. This was up from 14% about a decade prior. So this just goes to show how popular, how prevalent it is that people are aiming for diets to manipulate their bodies. Now, why is this an issue? Why is weight cycling an issue? Let me go through the science, or I'm not going to go too deep into it in this video, but let's go through a bit of the science of what happens when we yo-yo diet. So we go through a reorganization of how your body pretty much tries to sustain itself, how your body tries to adjust in order to continue to survive. So some basic changes that happen are changes in your hormonal sensitivity or the levels of hormones that are present that are associated with hunger and satiety and stress levels and metabolism, leading to changes in your metabolism and your energy usage and storage. And this can all also impact your gut microbiota. So those are just some things that end up changing. And this is why when we try to lose weight rapidly, a lot of the times we end up regaining. And I'm not going to go into all the super specifics about that now, but that's essentially what happens when we yo-yo diets or have rapid weight loss and then weight cycle. So I know I was bitching about diets this whole time and the problems with fad diets and everything. So how do I feel about diets as a dietitian? First, dieting with the intention of losing weight. Don't even get me started on primarily focusing on dieting with the intention just to lose weight. That should not be the primary determinant of health, is someone's weight. There are plenty of people that are well and able in bigger bodies, in heavier bodies. There are many studies also that talk about that weight is not the sole determinant. Depending on certain complications, it can be a major factor, but it should not be the primary focus because there have been so many other studies as well that have shown that some participants had lost weight, but still displayed other increased health risk factors. But we can talk about that in another video as well. Second, fuck a diet that is restrictive, that is completely restrictive, especially those diets that ask you to cut down like at least 500 calories less than your normal day. If you're decreasing an entire ass meal, sure, it's going to be effective in a certain amount of time if you stick to it consistently. You're decreasing your energy intake. Your body's not going to be using energy, it's going to be spending it. And if you can't replenish it, it's going to be spending it and you're going to lose weight. But it's not sustainable for many people. I've had clients time and time again tell me, oh yeah, I tried this diet and it worked really well. I lost so much weight. And then I took it back again because I just felt so hungry, or I wanted to eat all the things that I missed, right? Because it's hard to regulate when we hop back on that again. Because of those changes that I mentioned happened in our body when we yo-yo diet. Now, my thoughts on diets as a lifestyle, as a way of life, that's another thing. You have nutrients that you definitely need to consider to make sure you have a well-balanced diet. Balance, variety, and moderation. No one wants to listen to this. Everyone thinks there's a one-size-fits-all, but that's not the truth. You need to figure out what works best for you and figure out how you can make sure you have all the nutrients, all of the proteins, carbs, fats, vitamins, and minerals, and water that you need for your lifestyle. Are you active? Are you more sedentary? Right? I would not recommend someone remain sedentary. Do whatever movement you can, whatever movement brings you joy, right? Balance that with your nutrition. But diets as a lifestyle, I do believe that there are diets like the vegetarian diet, gluten-free diet, vegan diet, whatever, that could work for certain people. Ketogenic diet could work for certain people. There's been studies that show benefits of it for those with that epilepsy. But again, these lifestyle changes should not be based on the desire just to lose weight or just to reach a physical aesthetic. Other results that you can try to focus on to determine whether or not you're reaching a healthier, more balanced you are your energy levels, strength, your mood, your endurance, your stress levels. There are many other things you can focus on. Your focus, even. Do you feel more focused? If you nourish yourself well, if you're sleeping well, if you're working out well, there are many other outcomes that you can focus on in order to determine if you are doing what is best for your body. There is no one-size-fits-all solution to what is healthy, right? It's all individualistic. So don't yuck someone's yum. When I say that, I mean, don't down the way that someone nourishes themselves because it's different from the way that you were taught, that you learned, that you nourish your own self. Or don't listen to anybody else that makes their comments on your food either. Both of you guys are on your own paths. Nobody needs to be making any comments about the way someone nourishes themselves unless that other person asked. So, with that, decisions should be made according to your lifestyle. There are many different diets. Some may work for some, and then others won't. But there is not one solution out there. So that's a little bit about diets for now. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, comment them, like, and subscribe. And next time, we will definitely be talking about the gut microbiome, which is a
Bopping.
beautiful thing that is, in the whole scheme of things, still young in its applications and research, but is such a cool thing that I would love. So we're going to be raving in the next episode. All right. So I'll catch you guys next time. Till then, your bitchin' dietitian out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.